It's 89.9 The Light. It's positive, it's uplifting. It's the Shaylee and Rob show. And we are joined by the world's busiest man, Sam Ramsden, who you've been on our show a few times.
I have. It's always good fun.
It kind of feels like you've just grabbed onto the bottom of one of Elon Musk's rockets.
Yes.
And you just keep sort of smashing through new atmospheres. I'm going to read you a bio of you.
Oh, dear.
So you know how the explosion of AI?
Yep.
You'll like this. This is what AI knows about you.
Oh, okay.
And I want you to fill in the gaps. And this is why I say he's the world's busiest man. Can you see the bio?
Oh, I can see it all right.
All right. Melbourne Sparky.
Yep.
Dad of 4 girls. Podcaster. Author. You're an accidental entertainment superstar. I know you're very humble. You will never say, yes, I am, but you are. That's what's happened. You run the wildly popular Silly Stories for Kids. What started as chaotic bedtime stories from your father-in-law, I believe.
He's the one that made me do it.
Yeah.
He pushed me, so...
So all of this is a mistake.
It's all accidental, if you can say it that way. No, it's all been a joyful blessing is probably the most honest answer.
You're now getting millions of downloads. You've got listeners across Australia, New Zealand, the US, basically all over the world. And you are still running your electrician business full-time, managing people who have their lives. They need to get paid on time. They need to go to the jobs that are booked. Tell us how has this happened to you? Where does it start?
Where does it start? Well, it starts way before any of it, to be honest, because if you think about wherever you are in life, it's always such a journey of so many different things and so many different moments that lead you to where you are. Like, my electrical business has been one of the funny ones because I never wanted an electrical business. I always said I would never start a business, but when the company that you're working for liquidates 2 months before you're about to get married and you have no job and you're about to be supporting a wife who's still studying full time, you take anything. And that story rolled into me ending up running my own company and then thinking that was going to be the path of success for me and trying to build this glorious kingdom for myself within my electrical business that should have liquidated many times over the journey when we got burnt by all kinds of things and things completely fell apart, but we just got to see provision through that and all kinds of things. And then as you start to step in a different direction, you get to see these opportunities that create, and then you get to see how every little moment along the story all the way through just gives you extra bits that you wouldn't have had to be able to take that next step. And so I guess how have we ended up here? Well, the reality is just constantly asking what the next faithful step is and being confident to take it, because we've seen provision and we've seen care and we've seen all the things that we need to be able to get everything to where it is so far, not through our own strength or doing, but through a lot of help and everything. So I guess it's just looking at the next step and taking it.
So cool.
But you're tired though, yeah?
I think I got to tired a long time ago and it became my baseline, so I don't notice it anymore.
I don't know how I feel anymore.
I think I just live at this constant but. No, actually, genuinely, because I find so much joy in what I do, I don't feel tired. I feel energized and I feel excited. And it's one of those things of, I wish there was more hours in a day because I love so many of the things I get to do.
All right, so you're doing all that. Busiest man, dad, 4 girls, chronically tired. By your own admission.
But he doesn't feel it, so it's fine.
And then you go and write a book. Tell us about your newest venture, your book.
Well, I think you remember, I had this book written before you started yours, and you had to go all and polish me by smashing it and getting yours published and organising everything. My book has been in the works.
Hold on, Sam. He hasn't gotten it published, but he did get it printed.
It's actually pretty good.
It's one step ahead of me. No, this book has been so long in the works because it was an idea that I had very early on. And because I do stories all the time, feels a bit rude to say, but the book for me was something that I wrote in an afternoon and then got it over to my friend who's an incredible illustrator, and she just put together this amazing thing. And then we went around the route of trying to get published, and it's a complicated world that I just didn't have the time to understand well enough to work out how to step into it. And I've actually procrastinated far too long and finally got myself together and went, hey, let's print this thing. And so we've printed it ourselves and it's getting all organized and printed at the moment so that we can start getting it out into the world, because it's just the illustrations and the use of color and the creativity that my friend Abby Clerk has put into it is so much fun. I just want to share it with everyone. So it just got to the point of going, well, we just need to do this. So we started, and we'll take that step and see where it leads.
Does this mean there's a book tour in your near future as well?
Well, Mainly because I suck at postage and logistics. And so my simple brain went, hey, if I took a big box of books to different places, I could just dish them out from there rather than needing to deal with sales and all that sort of thing. So there are plans of flying to a few locations around Australia and doing a little bit of a reading and having a bit of silly fun while we can distribute some books as well.
That's so cool. Yeah. I did want to know, what is it about?
It is a story. It's actually for my oldest daughter, Holly. So her name is in it. It's about her and Pim Pim going on an adventure where they step into a world that is lacking in colour and lacking in joy. And by using creativity and silliness and all those kinds of things, they bring colour and joy to the world. And it's very much a story of using who you've been created to be to bring colour and joy and life to the world.
I love it. Oh, I want one.
It's 89.9 The Light. It's positive. It's uplifting. It's the Shaylee Rob show, joined by podcast extraordinaire. He does pretty much everything else. You can Google him. His entire resume is on there right now, which is actually kind of scary, but we know everything about you, Sam. But you're joining us in the studio. You've got your new book coming out. The title is?
Okay, Let's Go.
Oh, were we not allowed to know that?
No, we are. I'm just really forgetful. And
what did I call my book again?
I can see the pictures in my head, but I often get to that point of going, cause like it took me a while to kind of decide what I was going to call it.
Yeah.
And so there's like about 10 different versions in my head of like, which one was it? No, we settled on Okay, Let's Go. So
perfect. All right. So you've got that coming out. But what I want to talk about is how everyone listening in their minds has had a version of what they thought their life would turn out like.
Yeah.
You grow up. Life comes at you pretty fast. You know, you get your mortgage. Maybe you meet the person you want to marry and you're like, okay, I have to pretend that I can provide for this person, because we're all just kids eventually trying to figure it out. And now you've been led on this crazy, crazy life. How does this happen for you? How do you differentiate? Because you're a man of faith.
Yeah.
So all these opportunities come your way.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate them from professional opportunities or potentially what God's asking you to do? How do you make the decision? Because you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Are you just going, I'm just going to do it all. I'm just going to say yes and figure it out?
Somewhat, but it's interesting that you said trying to decide between commercial opportunities or faith opportunities. But the reality for me is you actually can't separate it. The reality is that I want anybody who sees me in my electrical business, in my Silly Stories business, if they ran into me at church, to see the exact same person seeking the exact same things wherever I am. And so when it comes to all these things, I'm actually quite blessed to see God really leading me in lots of different directions, often contrary to what I expected. As a kid, I was convinced I was going to play Major League Baseball in America. I wanted to play for the Boston Red Sox. I was going to be a pitcher. I was going to be closing it out, but I missed out on making the Australian team going across to Japan because I went to church and they hadn't seen me play baseball on a Sunday. And so that was a shattering of that dream. And then you end up with all these different dreams of directions that you think you're going. And then you look back in hindsight and you see that the path that you've actually ended up on is actually so much greater than what you'd planned for yourself. And so when it comes to all this stuff, it's just sitting there looking at the faithfulness in my life so far up until this point, and just knowing that we can step in confidence in a direction, knowing that if it's the right direction, great, things will go well. And that if it's the wrong direction and things completely fall apart, it's happened before and it's still completely okay. And it's one of those things of just the confidence to be able to just step, knowing that whatever the outcome is, it's actually for my good and for God's glory as well. So it's a wild ride, and it would be ridiculous for me to pretend I actually knew what I was doing in the directions that we were taking. But I just try and do the best at whatever is placed before me and see what happens. So
this is a big question. I think it might be very hard to answer. But when the opportunities come your way, you've got very good at saying yes. How many people do you think are seeing these opportunities popping up in their lives that God have put in their way, and they're saying no because it's too hard? Because I don't think you've ever said no because it's too hard, but I think I do it. Admittedly, opportunities have come along and I've said no to it because I didn't know how it was going to work out. How many people do you think are held back because we've gotten very good at saying no?
I think as much as it's getting good at saying no, I think it's also just learning who you've been made to be. I think that's the thing that I think I've just learned over the time who God's made me to be and what that looks like. And so it gives me confidence to say yes to things that are in that direction. And so I think often for people, they find it hard to say yes because they actually don't see the potential for what could be in those moments. And it's one of those things, the more you see what could be, the more confidence you have to step towards it. And so I think for a lot of people, they find no the safer option because they're a little bit afraid of what might come and the bad things that might happen. Whereas like I've experienced real chaos and real all kinds of things and seen on the other side that you're actually okay and that it grows you and teaches you and shapes you in ways that you couldn't understand. And so I think that's why I've become so good at confidently stepping out and saying yes, is because I've actually seen it go well and go badly, but both are good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's why I was so excited to talk to you today.
Yeah.
Because I think you and your abilities, I think we all have that. You are what happens, I think, when you step forward with faith, with confidence, you take that leap of faith, you just run headfirst at things. You don't always need to have the plan. I know so many people are listening right now, they've got a monster dream. But maybe they're driving home from work and they're like, I'm tired. Like, I got no idea what I'm doing.
One saying that has been incredibly helpful for me is done is better than perfect. Because there's been times when I've had this massive idea and I formulate this huge plan in my head and I can see what it could be in 5 years, 10 years, all this kind of stuff. But because it's so complicated, I'm like, I can't do that. But if I break it down to, well, what's the first step that I can do in that direction and how do I just get it done? That's the first thing. And so if there's a big dream or a big idea or a big thing that you feel like might be something that you're being called to, the question is actually, what's the first step and how do you just get it done? Because often the first steps are ugly and messy and all kinds of things. And it takes hundreds of steps to be able to get to a point of going, I think we're actually tracking in the right direction now. But the reality is that taking that first step and going, okay, this is okay. All right, what's the next step? What's the next step? And I'm someone who's very good at living in a moment and looking at what's in front of me. I struggle to look at things too far past there because there's too much going on. But if I'm looking at what's in front of me and going, well, how do I do this? That's when I've seen the most progression and growth in what's happening, because you just do it and you get it done and you don't let the perfection stop you from producing something. So
what was the saying again? One more time.
Done is better than perfect.
It sounds a lot like the title to your second book.
No,
Brilliant.
The second book's called One Day. I've already written in my head. I just haven't actually put it to paper. So.
Of course you have. Of course you have. Third book then. Third book.
Sam, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, because I think there's a lot of people, we all have ideas, we all have dreams, and a lot of us take ourselves out of the race. So I was so excited to talk to you because you're what happens when you say yes and you give it a crack.
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun little adventure to be on. And that's the thing. It is an adventure and we have no idea where we're going. We have no idea where it's going, but it has grown into something so much more than I could have dreamed or imagined. And it is just such a blessing to be a part of it and to be along for this ride and just to keep taking steps and see where it leads.